Cowan.
Thank you very much, Dame Rosie, and I shall attempt to keep my remarks within the time limit, as was handed down by the Chair at least 20 minutes ago. As a member of the Public Administration and Constitutional Affairs Committee, I have been in the privileged position of being able to talk with constitutional and political experts, both formally and informally, about many things, including Clause 11. And as part of the process of formulating our latest report, the committee chair, the honourable member for Harwich and North Essex, and I travelled to Edinburgh and took evidence from panels of experts over 2 days. It was both enlightening and informative experience. So, as the situation is, under Clause 11, a potential 111 powers that could be devolved to Scotland will be held at Westminster until such time as UK Parliament sees fit to devolve them. The UK Government stands on this as, trust us, we will do the right thing. And trust them we have over the years. We trust them to deliver the Cowan report, but they didn't. We trust them to deliver on the Smith Commission, but they didn't. We looked to the Sewell Convention and we saw right through it. And we listened to, we were influenced by a vow which wasn't a vow. In September 2014, the then Prime Minister, David Cameron, told us we were a family of nations. We were told that Scotland could lead, not that they would attempt to put a lead on Scotland. But every amendment requested by SNP MPs democratically elected to represent the citizens of Scotland was voted down. When we voted to stay in the EU, our views were ignored. When we were asked to sit at the table during negotiations, we were snubbed. Well, I can assure the Minister that the words, "the cheque is in the post," and the promise that you will respect me in the morning won't work anymore. I am well aware that the cold, hard fact is that the UK Government doesn't have to do anything. But Scotland is not a faithful hunting dog standing at its master's heel waiting on its orders. Scotland in the Union is a concept rooted in the past. The ties that bind us come from, in part, a shared history, a history of conflict and conquer. The sun set in the Empire a long time ago. For some that may come as a surprise, but 59 colonies have walked away from this empire. As a new dawn rises, so does Scotland. And we want a different future from the one set out for us. But Scotland can't choose its own future, or we have to seek permission to do so. Clause 11 does not set out a timetable for transition. Professor Richard Rawling, Professor Alan Page have both raised concerns that Clause 11 is described as a transition agreement, but that there is no provision for this on the face of the bill. Despite that, we are currently designing our Scotland. Civic Scotland, combined with academia and business, is already coming together to design the country we want to live in. Think tanks and public meetings discussing the Scotland we want to be are common occurrences. There is a growing awareness that Scotland, with the right powers, can reform our energy business, banking sector, agriculture and fishing industries. We could even negotiate our own trade deals like Norway, Iceland and the Faroe Islands do. The Faroe Islands negotiates its own trade deals because the Danish government respects them and trusts them. We could each define our own future and still be trading partners, still be valued neighbours, continue to help and support each other, but only if that is achieved through a mutual respect for each other's sovereignty. And there's the rub. Clause 11 shows no respect or trust for Scotland or any of the devolved authorities. Dr Tobias Locke, senior lecturer in the Edinburgh Law School, has said that the European Union Withdrawal Bill will result in a shift in balance between the powers Westminster has in practice and the powers Holyrood has in practice, with Westminster's power being augmented and Holyrood staying the same. This concern is shared by Professor Nicola McEwen, Professor of Territorial Politics at the University of Edinburgh. Professor McEwen identifies that Clause 11 is fundamentally a problem of trust. The UK Government doesn't trust the devolved governments to refrain from using repatriated powers to create policy and regulatory divergence that may harm the UK's internal market and create problems in trade negotiations. Professor McEwen went on to say, This rather overlooks the considerable constitutional authority that the UK Parliament already retains over the market regulation, trade and the making and implementation of international treaties. For their part, the Scottish and Welsh governments don't trust the commitment of the UK Government to devolve repatriated powers after Brexit and/or to agree and govern UK common frameworks on a genuinely cooperative basis. So I ask, once the existing imbalance has been augmented, when will it be realigned? Or Scotland, if given the right powers, could negotiate with the EEA and the EFTA to seek what is best for Scotland, but not detrimental to the rest of the UK. We are hamstrung by a UK government that is scared of its own shadow, constantly looking back over its shoulder, wondering from where the next challenge or crisis will emerge. What we have is a UK government which is propped up by bluster and buffoonery. And while individuals may be protected by personal wealth that generates a self-confidence and self-assurance, a wealth that supports a devil-may-care attitude, nudging forward, assuring us all it will be all right on the night, the vast majority of people in the UK are less well protected from the economic turmoil that lies ahead. They have concerns over jobs, pensions and visas. And quite rightly, they have turned to the UK Government time and again, seeking reassurance. But these concerns are not being addressed, and all that has been offered is a sickly mix of jingoistic imperialism. The Scottish Government seeks to bring clarity to the situation. They seek the powers to govern responsibly. And finally, Dame Rosie, Clause 11 as it stands does not provide that authority or opportunity. It must be amended forthwith, and the powers that are due to the Scottish Parliament, the powers that will be best used by the Scottish Government in the best interest of the citizens of Scotland, must be repatriated to the Scottish Parliament immediately after the UK leaves the European Union.
Yeah.